11A, Valerie from 11B, and I'm Chelsea from 11B. If you guys are wondering why are we standing in front of you guys right now, it's because we are here to spread the awareness towards osteoporosis. And we are supported by FKUI and AMSA-UI, which is an abbreviation for Fakultas Kedokteran Universitas Indonesia and Asian Medical Students Association. Before we start the presentation, we would like to tell you guys why we joined this social campaign competition. First of all, because we want to spread awareness, as osteoporosis is one of the deadly diseases that could happen to you in the future. But we want to tell you guys that you can prevent osteoporosis starting from now. Second of all is to gain knowledge, because we actually didn't know much about osteoporosis, but due to this competition, we gain more knowledge, and we want to tell you guys how to prevent osteoporosis. Third of all is because we want to win and to get the certificate, and this certificate can help us apply to our dream university. So at this end of presentation, we'll have a Q&A session where you can ask us anything about osteoporosis, and we're glad and delighted to answer it and research more about your questions. And before we start about osteoporosis, let's start with facts about bones. So first, facts about bones. Under a microscope, our bones look like a honeycomb. So you can see in that picture, our bones looks like there's a honeycomb. Looks like a honeycomb. So there are holes in our bones. So actually it's not that as compact as you think, that maybe our bones doesn't have holes, but actually there are holes in it. And children and teenagers form bone faster than they lose bone. So like us teenagers, when we break a bone, we tend to form bone faster than elders. And as they continue to grow denser, our bone reach its peak bone mass. So it's a stage where your bone has their highest mass, and usually it's heavy. That's why maybe you wonder like why people say that my bones are heavy. So actually it's why their bones are dense. And the more bone mass you have, the likely you are to break a bone or osteoporosis later in life, or to get osteoporosis in life. So actually, the more bone mass you have, example in this stage, your bones mass are more. It means that you are not likely to break a bone or osteoporosis later in life. And in midlife, bone loss usually speeds up both in men and women. So as you grow older, like maybe after 30 years old, your bone mass will decrease, and your bone loss usually speeds up. But in men, it's later. Women tends to speed up first because after menopause, their bone mass decreases. So now let's get on to osteoporosis. What is osteoporosis? Osteoporosis is a disease in which we lose our bone mass, or there is a decrease in our bone mineral density. As a result, our bones will become more brittle, and there's an increased risk of our bones getting fractured. Osteoporosis happens due to vitamin D deficiency, or we expose ourselves to less sunlight. Our vitamin D in our body are not active unless it is exposed to sunlight. So when we expose ourselves to more sunlight, the vitamin D will become active, and it will absorb calcium and other minerals to make our bone healthier and denser. And it is suggested that you expose yourself to 7 a.m. till 10 a.m. sunlight. Osteoporosis usually affects to older people about 50 years old, especially women, as they experience menopause. When a woman experiences menopause, their estrogen level decreases. What is estrogen? Estrogen is a hormone where every woman has, and it is responsible for the development of female sexual reproduction and female secondary sex characteristics when they reach puberty. But
estrogen's function are not just these two, and its function is also to protect our bones. So when our estrogen level decreases, there will be less protection in our bones. That's why women tend to get osteoporosis more. And when people suffer from osteoporosis, their bones might break every 3 seconds, which is very scary and terrifying.
Okay, so as what I conclude from this graph is, as age rises, the tendency on getting osteoporosis and low bone mass also rises. Therefore, age is directly proportional to the tendency of having osteoporosis and low bone mass. But another point to conclude is that women has more tendency on getting osteoporosis and low bone mass compared to men due to sharp decrease of estrogen.
So now I'm going to tell you some facts about osteoporosis. Another name for osteoporosis is porous bones. So under the microscope, your bone will look like a honeycomb, which, as you can see from the picture, it has holes. Your bones has holes. And people suffering from osteoporosis, the holes and spaces in the honeycomb will become larger, like the one you see in the right image. Women most loss increases during menopause when estrogen level sharply decreases, because as I said before, estrogen is also important for your bone protection. So, yes. Not to be racist, but Caucasian and Asian race people, especially older women, are more likely to get osteoporosis rather than other races, because we Asian people and Caucasian people are born with smaller bone than, for example, African people. Common areas for osteoporosis, common area for the fracture of osteoporosis is in the wrist, spines, and also the hips. So these are symptoms and signs. Osteoporosis doesn't cause any symptoms until your bone is break or fractured. So you cannot see by your physical eyes like now. I cannot see if Chelsea has osteoporosis or not, because we cannot see the inside, right? But as your bones break, you can see that whether your bones suffer from osteoporosis or not. And the symptoms associated with osteoporotic fractures usually is pain. So when you break a bone and you have osteoporosis, sometimes your bones will ache in that specific area. And fractures that occur on normal activity is called a minimal fracture or minimal trauma or stress fracture. So when you break a bone on your daily activities, example your grandparents, they're doing their activities and suddenly they break the bone, it is called as a minimal trauma or stress fracture.
How to prevent and avoid it? We as teenagers has low tendency on having osteoporosis, but that doesn't mean that we could not be exposed to other disease such as osteogenesis imperfecta. So prevention starting by now might be a great deal. First is by exercise your body. Try lifting weights or even jog around your neighborhood, because this could maintain your bone structure. Second is to increase your vitamin D and calcium intake by consuming dairy products such as milk, cheese, and yogurt, and so forth. Third is to not to smoke, because smoking decreases bone mineral density, therefore it increases the rate of bone loss. Next is to limit alcohol intake. I I personally suggest you guys not to take alcohol because alcohol decreases bone formation. The next point is start taking medicines such as biphosphonate and contains biphosphonate and calcitonin. The last point is hormone therapy. Hormone therapy is used commonly for women that reaches menopause, but this can also be a method to relieve osteoporosis if a person experience severe osteoporosis condition.
So why should we prevent osteoporosis? Because first of all, osteoporosis could lead to death because when you suffer from osteoporosis, you cannot do heavy activities because your bones tends to break more. And it can cause you a lot of pain and it could lead you to death.
The second one is a burden. Why burden? Because when we suffer from osteoporosis, you cannot do activities as usual, like your normal activities. You cannot do sports or other heavy activities because your bone gets weaker and weaker. So sometimes it's becoming a burden for other people.
Number 3 is that the medical expenses for osteoporosis are really high. Actually, there's a cure for osteoporosis and it is called bone marrow transplantation, but it is really expensive and it can cost you about 14 billion US dollars, which is really, really, really expensive. So instead of wasting your money on that operation, you can just prevent osteoporosis starting from now by consuming food that consists of vitamin B and expose yourself to more sunlight and do more exercise.
The fourth one is osteoporosis could lead to depression due to being judged of having uncanny physical appearance and limitation of activity. So sometimes people judge you by the disease example, you suffer from osteoporosis. Sometimes your bone will it's bent. Like when you see some grandparents, their back are bent right. Sometimes people judge you by that. And you have limitation of activity. That's like what I said before, you cannot do a lot of activities as previously. Example, you are able to do basket, but as you get osteoporosis, it will be less likely for you to do basket. And it also can cause disability. So if you suffer from osteoporosis and it's very bad already, you can suffer from disability. It means that you can do activities as usual.
As you can see, maybe you guys are familiar with some of the supplements here. I'm going to tell you about the constituents that are vital for our bones in each of these medicines. Starting from top left, which is unlead and osteocare. Unlead and osteocare consists of calcium and vitamin D3. Osteona consists of herbal constituents that are vital for strengthening our bones. Actonal consists of rhizodronate sodium, which is used for treating bone fractures. And Fosamax consists of alendronate, which is known as biphosphonate, and it consists of cholecalciferol, as known as vitamin D3.
Before we end this presentation, we would like to show you guys a video about osteoporosis.
Let's really look at osteoporosis. So let's get dirty here. Let's get dirty! So let's just take a bone that we often look at. This is what the spine looks like.
Yeah.
And that's actually what a ridge that is in the meniscus of the spine. And in the middle, of course, is the pulp. Now, let me just take this spine and cut it in half and show you two people who have spines that are very different. This is a spine that I've cut in a fuel bag. Okay? Oh, please.
I'm just taking it easy.
You can squeeze it, right?
Wow, it's like a rib.
Like a rib.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah, rib.
that's a normal spine, like a normal rib.
Yeah.
What you'd expect to see
Well, that's a spine
in a restaurant
from a person.
for a person.
Okay.
Now this is the osteoporotic bone.